welcome back to Little Literary Love. My name is Shelby. I'm glad y'all are with me. Today's video is going to be my fall TBR. It is not officially fall yet, but we're getting there. When this video goes up, it is going to be the beginning of September, so fall starts in September. Actually, while I am filming this video, it is technically like literally 100 degrees outside. Not really feeling the fallness like at all. I live in Missouri, which walking outside just feels like you're walking into a swamp with the humidity. It is so ungodly hot, and I'm done. I'm ready for summer to be done. So I'm excited. I have really just been like, I'm craving the fall reads. I'm craving the Halloween, the spooky vibes, and I'm like ready to just go ahead and start reading all of these kind of romances that I'm wanting to read. So I thought I'd come on here with my TBR for the fall season. It is filled with all the dark romance, monster romance, paranormal fantasy, gothic romance. I'm just like ready for all of it. So we're gonna get into all the books that I hope to read in fall. There's probably there's not just probably, there's definitely way more than what I have on this list, but I had to narrow it down to at least something to give y'all. So there's gonna be more. I hope to get to all of these. No, it's probably not gonna happen, but we're gonna work on it. It's, you know, I'm a mood reader. It's just kind of whatever I fancy, wherever the wind takes me, so to speak. Sorry, there's like a bit in my hair that is like flopping all over the place and it's annoying me. I was going to put on, like, since it's like fall TBR kind of video, I was like, I need to look like it's fall even though it's 100 degrees out. So I was like, maybe I should wear a sweater, but then I was like, nah, I can't handle that right now. It's way too hot. So I put on my Haunting Adeline shirt because I was like, that's dark romance. It fits with the vibes that I'm feeling right now. So anyway, we're gonna get right into my TBR. The first books that I'm going to be talking about are my more like anticipated releases for fall. So these are not out yet, but they will be coming out during the fall season, and I can't wait to read them. Starting off with Salt Kiss by Simone. This is the first book of I believe this is going to be a trilogy. This is a kinky MMF Tristan and Isolde retelling, and I believe I've seen lots of things about it, but I believe this also involves like a bodyguard and then these two people who are engaged something. This involves a character that was mostly mentioned. I can't remember if he was ever on page in the New Camelot trilogy, which is over here, which is one of my all-time favorite trilogies. I'm just like so ready for this. So this comes out very quickly in September. I think this comes out maybe a week, if at most 2 weeks after I post this video. So get ready for that because I'm going to be reading it very, very quickly. As soon as it releases, that's what I plan to do, is read this book. Then we have Madame by Cate. This is going to be the last book of the Salacious Players Club series by Cate that I have read all of these books. I love these books. This is about Madame, I can't remember her name, but she is a dom. She is popped up in other books of the series, and I can't wait to see what she gets up to. Some of the cover reveal was just shown this past week that I'm filming, and the blurb for it I think came out. If not the blurb, she has posted like some excerpts from the story. And I think this might be an FFM romance, which I'm excited for. I don't read a ton of those, so I'm excited to see what Cate does with that. Then I have Gula by Colette Rhodes. This is the third book in her Shades of Sin series. This also comes out in September. Oh, the Madame by Sarah Kate book that comes out in October. Excuse me. Anyway, Gula. This is a monster romance. Like I said, this is the 3rd book of the series. I read the first 2 books of the series. The first book of the series is one of my favorite books. I loved it. Second book was alright. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I still want to continue on with the series because, like I said, it's monster romance. It takes place in this world where there are the shades, known as like these monsters, and then we have the hunters, and the hunters are trying to kill off the shades. But of course, things are not actually how you're led to believe. So this one is about a guy who is with the hunters, and he has come to the world of the shades because there are some people that have escaped from the hunter group into the shade world. So he's one of them, and he is kind of a rock star, so to speak, and he is infatuated with this female shade. So I'm interested in this because I don't read a ton of monster romances where the female of the dynamic is the monster in the duo. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. All of the books in this series are supposed to be reminiscent or like have a theme of one of the 7 sins, excuse me. So there are going to be, I believe there's going to be 7 books in this series. I think the first one was Lust, the second one was Pride. This one I think might be Gluttony. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Oh, another October book is going to be A Holly Jolly Ever After by Simone and Julie Murphy. I read the first book of this series, which is right here, A Merry Little Meet Cute. It was very good. I really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to read the next book of this author duo. So this, like the first book, the hero, the story was an ex-boy band member, and he is starting acting to try to help his non-existent career. So the second book is going to be about another member of that boy band group. I think it's going to be another situation where he is going to be acting with this other actress and then maybe they fall in love. Could be wrong on that because I haven't like really looked at the synopsis of the book too closely, but I loved the first book and I love Simone, so of course I'm going to read it, and I can't wait because that'll like help lead into then after like October more into winter, like Christmas season. Then the only other one that I have on this more like anticipated releases of my like TBR is going to be Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This comes out in November. This is the second book of the series. I don't remember what the series is called. Is it just called Fourth Wing? I don't know, but the follow-up to Fourth Wing, and I love Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing has been literally everywhere. Everybody is reading it and raving about it, so I am so excited to know what happens, because if you've read Fourth Wing, you know it ends on a cliffhanger, and I need to know what happens next. So I'm super excited about that. The other two in my anticipated releases hasn't actually 100% been confirmed that these are going to be releasing. The authors have just kind of hinted that they will be releasing them sometime in fall, but there are no dates set yet. There's been no like cover reveals. I've just seen like on Instagram from these authors like little like snippets of them saying, hey, I'm writing this thing, here's like a little excerpt of it, or here's what it's potentially going to be about. So one of those is Grimstone by Sophie Lark. I think this is going to end up being a standalone, and I'm very sure that is a dark romance. Other than that, I don't really know if this is going to be like contemporary dark romance or if this is going to be more on like the fantastical paranormal side dark romance. I don't know, but just the name Grimstone, it just gives off those like spooky vibes. I enjoy Sophie Lark's writing, so I'm excited for it. The other one is going to be Hollow by Karina Halle. She has put out a little bit more about what this is going to be about, but like I said, she hasn't really announced when this is actually going to be coming out. This is supposed to be, it's kind of a standalone that's going to be in a series of standalones that she's wanting to do of these dark romance retelling, dark gothic romance retellings of classic literature. So this is supposed to be a retelling of Sleepy Hollow. I think she's got plans for doing like Frankenstein and some others that I'm not 100% sure yet. Anyway, so this is supposed to be a dark gothic, a White Shoes romance. It's also supposed to be witchy and be like academia kind of romance. So I'm super excited for it. She also put in her little like thing about this book that she modeled, what's his name? Ichabod. After the Ichabod from the Tim Burton movie Sleepy Hollow, the Johnny Depp rendition, and I'm so here for it because anytime I read a Sleepy Hollow retelling, Johnny Depp is like who I'm picturing in it. So thinking a lot Karina Halle, so I'm excited for that one. Now we're gonna get into all of the books that have already been released that I just really want to read. Like I said, all of these books just give me fall vibes. They give me spooky vibes. They give me like horror, scary, paranormal, just all that kind of stuff. So there's just kind of like a smorgasbord all mixed together. So yeah. First is going to be the Hollow Boys series, starting off with The Lies We Steal by Monty J. This is supposed to be a gothic romance of like, I think there's maybe a friend group. So each book in this series is like a different guy from this friend group. I think it, like I've heard words used like I'm not going to be able to say this word. Macabre. I'm probably still screwing up that word. Whatever. And it's just supposed to give like spooky vibes, which is what I'm going for. So here for it. Then Phantom by Greer Rivers. I've been wanting to get to this because it's, I think, going to give me spooky vibes. This is a romantic suspense, gothic, Phantom of the Opera retelling. If I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at like my notes for all of these because there's no way I'm going to remember what all of these are about. But yes, so it kind of fits with the theme, but also Greer Rivers is going to be at Readers Take Denver, which is a book convention that I'm going to be going to April of next year. So I'm wanting to start reading some of the authors that are going to be attending so that if I want to, you know, get their books and meet them and have them sign my stuff, there's that. So she's going to be there. So I want to try to read some of her books to see if I might want to meet her. Then Ghost by Kat Blackthorne, excuse me. This is another author that's going to be at Readers Take Denver, but also this series I think is called The Halloween Boys. So it's like seriously like meant to be read for Halloween and fall. So this is, let's see here. Oh, this is a polyamorous romance, which I'm here for. I actually have a ton of polyamorous or wide shoes romances on here unintentionally. I wasn't going specifically for that. I'm going for like the vibes, like the spooky, monstery, scary kind of vibes. So just a little like caveat to that. But anyway, yes, it's supposed to be a polyamorous dark romance. I've heard words used like kind of horror. And this is also supposed to be a monster romance, which I didn't realize at first, and that makes me even more excited for this because I've seen like the cover and I thought it was just gonna be more like contemporary romance. Like it almost reminded me of the Penelope Douglas series, whatever that series is called. I can't remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Penelope Douglas series with the, like the 4 boys and causing havoc on Halloween. That's almost kind of what the vibes gave me, but this is actually like paranormal with monsters. So I'm just like, I'm so here for it. I can't wait. Then Twisted Heathens by J. Bree. Or no, not J. Bree. Oh my gosh. J. Rose. Excuse me. This, I think, is the first book of a trilogy. I've been wanting to try this author out because she has some other books that look really good to me. This one is supposed to be a dark, another white shoes romance, but this is also supposed to be set in kind of like a insane asylum, I think. So I don't know why, but I really love that kind of setting for romance. I read a book by Beatrix Hollow, I think last year, that was set in an insane asylum. Cute by Psycho. And I loved that book. I don't know, I'm a weirdo, but I just think that sounds really intriguing and I can't wait. Then Nocticadia, I'm probably saying that wrong too. There's times like I can, like, in my head I can read it very smoothly and I know what these words are, but then when I try to like speak them out loud, I just feel like I am just like vomiting up just random letters. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Do you ever feel that way? I'm definitely feeling that way. Anyway, Nocticadia by Keri Lake. I've read one of her gothic romances and then I've tried to read her gothic duology and I couldn't really get into it, but I think I want to try it again. But I think I'm going to start with this book first because this is a standalone gothic romance. This is a dark academia romance, and I think it might be a professor-student romance, which is one of my favorites. So that's kind of when I want to start with this and then maybe try the duology again because it's been recommended to me that I would like it. So maybe I would just need to like push through it. I'm like very intrigued by these because I love the covers too. So I need to try her again. Then I have Sweet Inferno by Elliott Rhodes. This is a fantasy romance. So that's why I kind of want to read it for like fall vibes because it's a witch and a shifter, but the witch is like a fire witch. I've also had this recommended to me. I've had this entire series recommended to me, so I really need to get to it because it sounds really good and amazing, but I really don't know like a ton more about this first one. But I know down the line there is an MMF storyline that just sounds so good and I can't wait to get to it. But I'm kind of one of those people that I need to actually like read the series through like in order. It just makes me feel weird if I don't do it that way. So I want to start with this one, and luckily it still gives me like the fall vibes, like spookiness with like the witchy stuff, so I'm here for it. Then I have That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. I've seen this book everywhere on Instagram. Everybody is reading this book. I've never read a Jessie Hall book. I want to try this out. I know this is a dark romance. This is also a stalker romance, so it fits the vibes. I saw like reading through the blurb that this also talks about like religion. So I don't, but like the dark side of organized religion is like the verbiage that it uses. So I don't know if this has like a cult or what that involves, but I'm excited. I'm very intrigued by it. Then I want to read Depraved by AJ Merlin. I'm very excited to read more from this author. I read Pretty Little Teas by AJ Merlin and I was blown away by it. It's a 5-star read. I loved it so much. It was a dark romantic suspense. This is also supposed to be a dark romantic suspense. I believe this is in a series of standalones from this author. And this just gave me like, reading the blurb just gave me like creepy kind of vibes, but like also I'm very intrigued by it. This girl is in like a cabin in the woods and this guy just like stalks her and like shows up and they do depraved things, and I feel like my face is getting red, but I can't wait to read this. I want to read more from this author because I really liked that one book that I read from her. Then I have Bite the Woman That Feeds. This is actually a pretty recent release by Penelope Barsetti, and this is supposed to be a vampire romance, which I'm also just like really in the mood for some vampire stuff right now too. This is again a dark romance. I don't really know anything else about what this is about, but I've seen some like what is it, like mood board, like aesthetic reels that people do on Instagram, and this just looks like so juicy and good. I'm so excited. Then To Hunt a Demon King by Madeleine Elliott. This is another romantasy. This is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, so I'm super here for it. It's also witchy and demons because she is hunting and trying to capture this demon king, or maybe she's on the run from the demon king. I don't know. There's something with the demon king involved. I love demons. I love witchy stuff. Here for it. Then I want to read Halfway to the Grave by Jeaniene. I think that's how you say her name, Jeaniene Frost. I have definitely been in a mood for these kind of books that are in like the trade paperback or the mass market trade paperback. I have not read Jeaniene Frost, but I've had this recommended to me multiple times. This is about this woman. She is a half vampire, and then this guy who is a vampire hunter, and they have to like team up for something. This, I've been told, gives Buffy and Spike vibes, and I am a hardcore team Buffy and Spike fan. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise that Buffy should have ended up with Angel. Like, very pissed off about that. No, Buffy should have ended up with Spike. I will stand on my grave on that. It's a thing. Like, it just is. It should have happened. I am a Spike fan. Like, a Spike stan, excuse me. So the fact that this is supposed to give Buffy and Spike vibes, this is like the exact thing that I have always wanted in my life. So I need to get to this series. I keep it on my shelf and I keep eyeing it and I keep wanting to get to it. And I've just had other books that I've been reading. So I really, 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 really want to get to this one. Ooh, and then I'm also very excited about this one, Heart Haunt Havoc by Freydis? I'm probably butchering that name, I'm sorry. Freydis Moon. This is a spooky romance. This is an LGBTQ romance because one of the characters I think is non-binary and another character is trans. And this is in like a haunted house, which another thing, if you don't know about me, I love books, especially if I am ever in the mood to read a thriller, which is not often. I love books that take place in a spooky house, in a haunted house, in a gothic mansion. If you've ever seen the movie Crimson Peak, it's a, I believe this is a Guillermo del Toro movie with Tom Hiddleston. I loved that movie for the vibes it gave alone, with this creepy, gothic, rotting, but also beautiful mansion. So anytime there's a story that involves a haunted house or at some sort of like weird house setting, love it. So I'm very intrigued by this because I like the whole like the LGBTQ elements to it, and I'm just excited to try this out. Then Death's Obsession by Avina St. Graves. This I don't know a lot about. I just know, and I think this is pretty short too. This is a dark romance and it involves death. Death is like obsessed with this girl. I don't know. I'm here for it. I need to read it. Then Heartless Heathens, which I believe is the name of one of the other ones that I had on here. Oh no, I had Twisted Heathens. Heartless Heathens by Santana Knox. This is another gothic white shoes romance. I don't know if this is paranormal, but the blurb on this says that this isn't technically a retelling, but it takes inspiration from Notre Dame de Paris by Victor Hugo. And I think this like girl like lives in a tower or something. I don't know. I've heard really good things about this one, so I want to get to it. Then Eternally Damned by January Rain. I've heard really good things about this author. This is supposed to be this is a paranormal witch and vampire. Love me some vampire romance. Let's see here. I'm trying to read my notes about this one because I can't remember. I have too many books on this TBR, let's be honest. Oh, this is about, so the vampire is asleep, and to be able to wake, he needs the blood from his blood mate. So there's this witch that comes to this house where he is sleeping at, and I guess maybe she's gonna end up waking him? I don't know. It sounds really good, and I've heard really good things about this book. Then To Touch a Dragon by Naomi Lucas. I've also been this is like helps with like that monster vibes that I'm wanting to go for. I've also kind of been in the mood for a while now for like dragon stuff ever since I read Fourth Wing, so I want to get to this one. This I've heard is kind of like the Mars Needs Men storyline. I don't know, is that a movie maybe, or a book? I don't know, but I think there's these like dragon men that need women. I love it. I want to read it. Then I need to get to The Company of Fiends. This is the second book of her. I don't remember what the series is called, but the first one is like The Rooksgrave Manor, something like that, by Catherine Moon. I don't know why I've been putting off reading this. I need to stop doing that, but this is a like historical monster romance, reverse harem, like why choose kind of thing, and I love Catherine Moon. I love her writing. I need to get to this. It's time. Then I need to get to Eden by Lily Mayne. I read Soul Eater not too long ago. Another 5-star read it for me. I loved that book. Can't wait to get to the second book of the series. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of world where monsters are on Earth. I believe all of the books of the series are male. I could be wrong on that though, but we got Eden a little bit as a character in the first book, and I just can't wait to read his book. It's gonna be so good. And then the last book that I have at least written, I know there's gonna be a lot more that I want to get to, but this is all I could come up for this list for today's video. I want to get to Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. This is a standalone book in a standalone in a series of standalones by different authors that are all based around like these like monster romances. Love Carissa Broadbent, one of my favorite authors that I newly discovered this year. Another vampire romance. I love it. And yeah, I believe all of the books in the series it's actually called Mortal Enemies to Monster Lovers. So I'm assuming based on the title is that this chick is going to try to kill this vampire person and ends up falling in love instead, and I'm super excited for it. I actually want to read all of the books in this series because they all sound so good, but the first one that came out was this one, so you know, like I already said that I like reading this stuff in order, so I want to do that. Also, I got this in hardback because I love this cover, don't get me wrong, but then the Naked book cover is also flipping gorgeous, so I needed both. I just did. I just needed both in my life, so I'm super excited to get to that one because it helps my vampire loving heart, because I want to read, I really want to read some vampire romances. So yes, that is going to be the end of this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below with some of the books that you're looking forward to reading this fall. What are some of the books that are on your TBR? Because you know I'm going to add them to my never-ending TBR. I swear. I read one book and get it down, and then I add like 5 more. It is what it is. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Bye guys.